Thank you guys for joining us for a special edition of State of the Jungle presented by First Star Logistics, live from the First Star Logistics studio. I'm Malik Wright. Yeah. I wish that, I was coming to you guys with on a better note, so to speak. You know, I anticipated that this would be a time where we would be celebrating, the Bengals clinching the AFC North and clinching the number 2 seed. Instead, we were all pretty much faced with the reality, a hard truth reality, in the human side of football last night. Um, Fortunately, it was in attendance for the Bills and Bengals game, and obviously the unfortunate set of circumstances that surrounded Damar Hamlin. Um, and I'll say this, there are certain situations that cause, everything to just stop, right? And you start to reevaluate what's important in life. And this is one of those situations. This is one of those things where we have to come to the realization that this is bigger than football. What happened last night was bigger than football. And before we, dive in to this and we answer questions and we open up this discussion, I just want to first and foremost say my prayers, thoughts, and prayers go out to Damar Hamlin. They go out to his entire family. They go out to the Buffalo Bills organization, the Cincinnati Bengals organization, T. Higgins, and every player that had to witness that last night. The entire NFL community. I would say it warmed my heart to see the entire NFL community come together and pretty much just say that this is a football game. This is not. This takes a backseat to anything else. I'll tell you right now, being in the stadium last night was one of the most indescribable feelings, that I've ever felt going to a football game. Unfortunately, I've had the opportunity to, the unfortunate opportunity to see Ryan Shea. I was in the stadium for Ryan Shazier's injury, for Tua Tagovailoa's injury earlier this season, and now this. And it's something that never gets easy. It's something that you never get used to. But I will say, I think that the NFL, I want to commend the NFL for, although it took them a while, I want to commend them for making the correct choice, of canceling the game, not only last night, but for the remainder of this week. To be quite honest with you, I don't know what the NFL would do. I have thoughts of what I think the NFL should do, but first and foremost, what's of most importance is, Damar Hamlin's health, and making sure that these players are in the right state of mind. Because again, we're talking about a situation that is life and death. We're not talking about a game. Football is a game, right? That you play. This is somebody's son, somebody's brother, so on and so forth. So my thoughts are with the entire Buffalo Bills organization and everybody, not just the players, the coaches, the people that just had to witness that last night. It's one of those things. It's hard to sort of wrap your mind around. So against my better judgment, I said, we're not going to have a State of the Jungle this week. I wanted to open up the forum to talk with all fans, NFL fans, Bills fans, Bengals fans, so on and so forth. I want to hear from you. I want to talk with you. I want to have conversations with you and let this be a place where you can vent, where you can ask questions. Maybe you want my thoughts on what the NFL should do. Maybe you don't want my thoughts on it. Maybe you just want to vent about what happened last night, because I could tell you right now, it is definitely what happened last night was 100% traumatizing, and it's not something that, that's easily forgettable. And I don't know how you can ask, these players to go back out there and play. I don't know. I don't know I don't know where we go from here. And I think that's the part that I'm struggling with. I even have struggled even being on this show today, even doing this. But I understand that, people want to vent, people want to talk, and people want to have these open dialogues. And, yeah. Dan, I guess we can open up the forum for questions.
So as we're waiting for some of these questions, if you guys are in this, once again, just drop your comments below, drop your questions, whether it's NFL related, whether it's, about asking about what's going to go on with the situation. I just want to highlight Damar really quickly. I know that the foundation, link in the description, has raised $4.5 million, and
Yeah.
I think that's something that's awesome because so I covered, Damar in the NFL draft, and I, scouted him, and I loved, the leadership that he brought to the Pitt University. And something that always, stuck out about him was the fact that he went above and beyond outside of football, right? He started his own clothing brand, and that's, chasing M's, and that's where the foundation is. So I think something about Damar is he's always gone above and beyond about football. So let's
Yeah, I mean, we do have the link to his charity in the description too, if you want to donate. Where I think the entire NFL world, it's not about being a Bengals fan or being a Steelers fan or a Browns fan. It's about, being a Hamlin fan and hoping that this kid pulls through. So, Daniel, let's get to some of the questions and some of the comments, please.
So we got a question here from It's Haiti. He's asking, also, what happens if we end in a tie? Is there still a chance to get the number 1 or 2 seed?
No, I believe if they end in a tie, what would happen is the Bengals would be the 3rd seed, the Bills would be the 2 seed. The Bengals would win the AFC North, but that's again, our focus is on Damar Hamlin.
So Hag Outdoors is asking, as a team, how do you think the Bengals move forward the rest of the season after witnessing that? Do you think that they'll be able to play through with the same intensity and fire that they've had
I
recently?
think that they would, but I think it's a hard ask to ask the week of, you know. Um, I again, it's one of those things where you don't know until you know. You don't know until you know. Let's get to Slade Wilson's comment.
Yeah.
I want to answer that, please.
Yeah. So he said, did Malik see Bart Scott's comments? Seemed like he was saying T intentionally lowered his head.
So I'll be the first to say this. Bart Scott is a jackass. He's a guy that when we talk about people in the media, they can't separate their bias from, being a true analyst in the media. And he's always had it out for the Cincinnati Bengals. And I did hear about the comments that he made about the Cincinnati Bengals and about how T. Higgins intentionally did that. I just got to be honest with you. I think that I thought it was egregious. I think that there's, there's a fine line between entertainment and being an idiot. And I think Bart Scott teeters on the ladder. And for him to make those comments about a guy, T. Higgins, who plays the game the right way, he owes him an apology. He owes the Bengals organization an apology. And it's dangerous to throw those type of accusations out there the way that he did. So if Bart Scott gets a wind of this, if I were him, if I was his employer, I would ask for him to apologize because T. Higgins was visibly shaken up with what happened to Damar Hamlin. Nobody goes out there. This isn't GTA, okay? This isn't Madden NFL Streets where people go out there and they say, you know what, let me go out there and intentionally hurt somebody. That's not what this is. It was a routine football play and it happened, right? But for Bart Scott to make those comments, I absolutely ridiculous. That's how you lose all credibility if you ever had any.
Caleb Nelson was asking, I saw somebody say that they would cancel the Pro Bowl and skip football this coming week and push everything back a week. Is that a possibility?
I don't know what the NFL is going to do in this situation. I certainly think the Pro Bowl is something that really doesn't matter. So I think that would be the logical choice. But I think the entire NFL world, right? There aren't too many moments where the NFL world stops and stands stills. This is a moment where the NFL world is stopping and they're standing still, and we're all trying to find a way to pick up the pieces and figure out how do we move forward. Because what happened last night is not something you can sweep under the rug. Okay. And if the reports were true about how the NFL wanted to continue playing, I know they said, hey, we that was never a real consideration. Again, I was at the Ryan Shazier game. I do remember the Bengals and the Steelers both getting 5 minutes, 10 minutes to talk on their sidelines, and they were asked to go out there and play after finding out Ryan Shazier's career ended. So like when I look at it, it's a tough situation all around. It's a lot of moving parts. It's a tough situation all around. I'd have a hard time seeing the NFL moving an entire week back. I think the logical choice is figure out first and foremost what you're going to do with this game, and then if anything, the Bills and Bengals should get some extra time to play their Week 18 games.
Awesome comment here from our guy Keith Bradley. I kind of just want to highlight this. He said, as a first responder, if anybody's struggling with this, please talk to someone. I've lost two close friends from PTSD. His door is always open. And that's also kind of why, why we're doing the show too, just to create an open forum for anybody that's, struggling to deal with this.
Thanks, Keith, for that.
So let me go to one of these questions. It's Hattie's asking, any word on how T. Higgins is doing?
No word on how T. Higgins is doing. I also didn't ask, to be honest with you. I've been down about this, to be quite honest with you. I've been sort of off the grid, man, just trying to figure out what the next step is for us to even do the show and stuff like that. But no, I didn't want to invade anyone's personal life and ask them, what was going on. But that was a perfectly fine question that you did ask, and keep the questions coming, guys. This is why I'm willing to stay on here and do this as long as you guys have questions, as long as you guys want to talk. I want to be your outlet. I want to be a person you guys could talk to, because we all saw what we saw last night.
So as we're waiting for you guys, to drop more questions, I've got a question for you, Malik. I'm sure you saw the comments by Skip Bayless, and I'm just curious, what were your thoughts? Obviously Shannon Sharp didn't show up to the show today. What was your thoughts on what Skip Bayless
I think
said?
Skip Bayless is an entertainer, and I think Skip Bayless sometimes says things in order to get people's attention. This is what he wants. This is what he wanted. He wants us to talk about him. He wants people to talk about his show. He wants people to tune into his show. This is how he gets people to tune in. The best thing you could do with people like that is not give them the attention, not give them the attention that they so desperately crave. And so I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to give Skip Bayless or Bart Scott the attention that they so desperately crave.
Awesome comment here from Shelly Johnson. Lead with your heart, Malik. So impressed and thankful for people like you.
Appreciate you, Shelly.
Something that I think deserves to be highlighted. Question from Justin Nipper. I'm seeing a lot of praise coming out for Zach Taylor and how he handled the situation. So, Malik, what was your thoughts on how Zach Taylor approached the entire situation?
Zach Taylor is an amazing human being, right? He understood in that moment that it was so much bigger than the game of football. Both teams had so much at stake, right? The Bengals had so much at stake. But because they have who they have leading the charge in Zach Taylor, it shows you what type of person that he is. You can criticize his football IQ, his football play calling, stuff like that, but what you can't criticize is his character. That is not up for debate. Zach Taylor is an amazing guy to be leading the way.
Question from Andrew. What would you say to Ravens fans if they were upset about the possibility of this game ending in a tie?
Say that one more time.
What would you say to the Ravens fans if they were upset about the possibility of a tie? Because that would kind of, from a football standpoint.
I don't have anything to say to Ravens fans. Again, this is so much bigger than the game of football, right? This is not about seeding. This isn't about AFC North champions. This is about a young man's life. So I don't have anything to say. If that's what the Ravens fans are focusing on, priorities need to be in order.
I want to highlight this question here from our guy Dalton. Big hugs, Malik. We all appreciate you being here for all of us as we navigate through all of this. # Hamlin Strong.
Thanks, Dalton. I appreciate you. You do amazing work, brother.
We got to just going to go through some of these comments. Keith is saying, I truly don't know how the Bengals or Bills get ready for this upcoming weekend.
I don't know either. I think that the NFL, I think that this is a time for the where we sort of see where the NFL's priorities lie, and we see what their intentions are. If I was the NFL, I would certainly reevaluate some things, and I definitely would give these teams as much time as needed to navigate through this all. Again, it's bigger than the game of football.
So I want to highlight this question from Glenna, and I kind of want to ask Malik, and I think it's kind of important, Malik. We've been to the NFL Combine. You've interviewed athletes, and time again, you've said the constant thing, they're bigger than athletes, they're humans, right? So I kind of want you, just highlight a little bit about how do you feel like, athletes are treated, and, it just sucks how, they're not treated necessarily as human beings.
I think this is a wake-up call for everybody, right? Not only in the media, but fans, these guys are human, they have families, they have people that love them, they have, They're again, you could take off the shoulder pads and all that kind of stuff one day. You could take off the basketball jersey, you could put the basketball down, you put the football down. But at the end of the day, you're still a human being, and they deserve to be treated as such. And I'm not trying to make this about, athletes being treated wrong, but just answering your question, yeah, I think athletes everywhere need to be treated better, honestly. Is there
Go
anything else?
not a lot of other questions.
Again, if you guys want to donate to Damar Hamlin's foundation, you can down in the description. We have his links. We have everything. Yeah, again, my thoughts, my prayers as a man of faith is with the Buffalo Bills organization, Damar Hamlin's family, the Bengals organization, T. Higgins, everyone that witnessed what they witnessed last night. Again, I'm willing to stay on as long as possible to talk to you guys, answering as many questions as you can. Again, it's bigger than the game. So
We got a comment here. I think it's important to highlight. Daniel Gable said, "Being at the game and seeing this in person makes me have a whole new perspective on life. It feels like the world stood still for a minute."
yeah, I mean, I would say being in that stadium last night, seeing how quiet it got, you could hear a pin drop. Nobody was cheering, nobody was booing. Everyone just stood still for a moment, and we all, just sat there hoping for the best. I mean, like I say, I'm a man of faith, and that was the first time I've ever prayed at an NFL game. Um, I prayed for that he had protection over him, and that it wasn't as serious as it had looked, but it was serious. And yeah, it was just one of those. It was really just one of those experiences that are definitely it's hard to put into words, honestly.
Keith Bradley said, "Stay strong, Malik. We're all in this together. It's tough seeing something like this happen at this magnitude."
Agreed, agreed. And like I said, I can only feel for the players, the coaching staff, even some of the younger NFL fans that had to witness that last night, man. Yeah, you go to an NFL game, I feel like I always say football, sports is the thing that brings people together, and that rang true last night, even in for all the wrong reasons, right? For a situation that was so um, delicate, so to speak, and yeah. All right, if that's all we got here, I think that I'm gonna hop off. I just wanted to make sure. Thanks, Matt. I appreciate that too, man. Again, this is for all of us, for the NFL community. Um, yeah, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys have any questions, anybody wants to talk, feel free to DM me, reach out to me. Make sure you guys, um, subscribe to the YouTube channel for, we'll have more videos and content for you guys as always. Appreciate you guys for supporting. I just really wanted to make sure I jumped on here and just um, express my thoughts to Damar Hamlin, to the Buffalo Bills organization, to the Bengals organization, and T. Higgins. But it, you know, I just wanted to make sure I just popped on here and just talk with you all. But I hope that you all enjoy the rest of your night. And yeah, I appreciate you.